Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Lilly here, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit differently. We've talked about back pain, we've talked about nutrition, weight loss, macronutrients, metabolism a little bit. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be focusing more on the fitness aspect, starting to dive into more fitness-related content, certain exercises for certain muscle groups, how to perform certain exercises, things of that nature, even talking about like running and other forms of exercise, and kind of clearing up some common themes that I've been seeing around in the fitness industry. So one of the things I wanted to talk about in today's video specifically is starting from the bare basics of exercise. We're going to be going over reps, sets, definitions. What do these terms mean? If you are already advanced or intermediate lifter, weightlifter, this video might not be the best for you, but stay tuned for later videos when we're going to dive into more complex topics. But today's video is strictly for beginners, so everyone has an understanding of our proper terminology, how to discuss certain things, and how to framework different exercises and whatnot. First thing I wanted to talk about is our basic gym terminology, which is our sets, our reps, and our weight, or our external load, if you want to be a little bit more fancy with that term. Our sets. Most people confuse sets and reps, which is why I'm discussing this topic. The way I like to approach this is the reps is your repetitions. So if you do a certain exercise for a certain amount of repetitions, let's say 8 repetitions, that is also known as your rep count, okay? You do a certain amount of reps per each set. So if you think of the sets as kind of a container for that particular time of exercise, the amount of reps you do is how many scoops of, let's say, sand or water you're putting in that box. You could have multiple sets, aka multiple boxes of the same exercise or the same sand or the same amount of water per set. So, for example, if I say we pick an exercise, let's say a back squat, and I say let's do 4 sets of 8 reps, that means you're doing one set of 8 reps, take a break, then you do your second set of 8 reps, take a break, do your third, take a break, and then do your fourth. So that's how we'll classify sets and reps. Please do not get confused with the two. The more that you practice it, and what I usually tell clients is the more that you practice saying it and relaying that information, the more it's actually gonna stick and it's gonna make more sense. The reason it works this way, because you can have a different amount of reps per set. So for example, first set you can do 8 reps, second set you do 10 reps, third set you do 12 reps, fourth set you do 15 reps. So you can have different repetition amounts per set for the same exercise. One set of 8 reps, one set of 10 reps, one set of 12 reps, one set of 15 reps. It's the same exercise. The rep count, how many times you're doing that exercise per set, is a little bit different. Now, when we talk about external load, or oftentimes our resistance or our weight, whatever weight we're pushing or pulling, is going to be a factor in these sets and in these reps. To break it down a little bit further, when we have, let's say, that back squat, that same exercise, we do 4 sets, and for this example, let's keep it the same rep count, so 4 sets of 8. Each set and each rep that you do of that exercise is going to be the same weight. Okay, so let's say it's a 60-pound squat. You do 1 set, you do rep number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way to 8 reps. And each rep that you do it, it's 60 pounds. When we add all of these numbers together, at the end of your workout, for every exercise, every set, and the amount of reps that you do in each set, you add that with the weight of how much you're pushing or pulling and using as a part of the exercise, and it'll calculate the total volume of what you did that day. So I'll give you an example. Let's say it's leg day. We do back squats. You do 4 sets of 8, so that's 32 reps in total. Every rep you're doing 50 pounds. So the calculation would be 32 reps times 50 pounds equals 1,600 pounds. So that's 1,600 pounds of weight lifted just off that one exercise, doing it for 4 sets, 8 reps each. You do the same math for every other exercise after that. So if you're doing deadlifts, if you're doing glute bridges, if you're doing whatever it is, right? You do the same formula. You get the reps and the sets. So 4 sets of 8 will be 32 reps across all of it. Multiply that by the weight, so in this case 50, and you get the total volume. Now, the reason you want to know your total volume is because let's say you lift 10,000 pounds in a single workout. One, congratulations, that's actually pretty impressive. That's a lot of weight that you're pushing, so kudos to you. However, when we want to make things a little bit more challenging, because if our goal is to gain muscle, lose weight, lose body fat, we're going to need to challenge ourselves and make things a little bit harder. This is when it starts to bleed into a concept called the General Adaptation Syndrome. Now, this is a concept that we in the fitness industry use to help guide people into understanding that as we start to improve our fitness and our health and get in shape a little bit better, we're gonna have to make things a little bit more challenging to get that same effect of breaking our muscles down and regrowing them to be stronger and more resilient. It's this constant looping cycle. So once you understand your total volume and how many pounds you're lifting throughout the entire workout, when you go in the next week or in 2 weeks, when you feel a little bit stronger, you feel a little bit more resilient, a little bit more in shape, you want to increase your weight. You want to increase potentially the amount of reps you're doing, or you want to increase potentially the amount of sets that you're doing. Now, we can talk about the specifics of it and what each implication will do in terms for the total volume. But if you increase any one of these 3 variables, the sets, the amount of repetitions that you're doing, or the amount of weight that you're doing, you're going to increase your total volume for the entire workout. Now, when you increase the total volume of the entire workout, you're actually going to fall into this general adaptation syndrome where you're making things more challenging than you did the previous weeks, and thus you should build yourself to be stronger afterwards. And this is the key component to any type of fitness related endeavor, whether it's running, whether it's cycling, whether it's sprinting, pickleball, that's a new one that's very popular, and weightlifting, okay? So it's a very important concept to understand and implement with your training to continually improve. For those people who might complain of hitting a plateau, this could be the missing link that you're not doing that is going to get you over that plateau, over that hump, and continue to make forward progress. So let's dive into the specifics of it, okay? So like I said, with this general adaptation syndrome, you can actually do that very easily by increasing the amount of sets that you do. So if we go back to our previous example, if we did 4 sets of 8 reps of back squats, if you add another set, that's 5 sets of 8, the total amount of reps goes from 32 to 40 because you're not changing the rep count, you're just doing a little bit more by adding a set. This is a little bit different than just adding reps as a whole, okay? Conversely, if you want to keep the same 4-set routine, which is very common, and do 4 sets of 8 and change that to 4 sets of 10, you're just adding 2 more reps at the end of your original 8 reps per set. So what this does is you're still adding 2 reps, 2 times 4 is 8. Your total volume for that workout is still 40 reps instead of 32. So what's the difference? There's a couple things. If you change it from 8 reps to 10 reps, thus changing the rep count and modifying that variable, it may be more challenging because your body might be used to only doing 8 reps. So let's say we take a challenging weight for, let's say for you it's 60 pounds, and 60 pounds is fairly challenging, but the last 2 to 3 reps is a real struggle. If you add 2 more reps on top of that, that struggle now is going to be a lot harder because you have to do 2 more reps. So that's the difference compared to if you just add another set. So instead of 4 sets, you're doing 5 sets, same amount of volume technically. The difference is if you add another set, you get that rest period from 4th set to 5th set. You might recover a little bit better, and then those 8 reps that you're going to be doing might be a little bit easier. Okay, so that's the small difference between the two, but in the grand scheme of things, the total volume is going to be the same if you keep the weight the same. Lastly, that brings us to the last point, which is the external load or the weight that we're going to be utilizing. if you do 4 sets of 8 for 50 pounds, and then the next week you do 4 sets of 8 for 60 pounds, you're now adding 10 pounds per rep of volume. So instead of doing 1,600 pounds of total volume from that previous equation, so now you're going to be doing 1,920 pounds of total volume. So that's a 320 pound increase in total volume, in total load, by just changing one variable by 10 pounds. And that's just for one exercise. If you carry that same principle for all 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises that you're doing throughout that day, that number will increase dramatically. It might be a few thousand pounds, and you'd be surprised how quickly it is to get to that. This is what we mean by the General Adaptation Syndrome. If you increase the reps, the weight, or the sets, and you're increasing the total volume of what you're doing, you're going to fall into this adaptation syndrome where you're consistently challenging yourself, making things a lot tougher, and thus forcing yourself and forcing your body to adapt to that challenge and become stronger and better off. This is a very basic understanding of the General Adaptation Syndrome. This is a basic understanding of what sets, what reps, and what weight or our external load. And hopefully this is a very basic and general video for all those people who are very new to the fitness industry. Maybe you're just kickstarting your weight loss journey. Hopefully this video is very informational for, like I said in the beginning, if you're someone who's more intermediate or more advanced with their weightlifting career or their path, don't mind this video. Most of you guys should have an understanding of this. However, I do actually find a lot of experienced lifters that don't quite understand what the General Adaptation Syndrome is, which is extremely important because that's what leads to growth, whether it's muscle growth, whether it's strength gains, whether it's lean body mass gain. It doesn't matter. As long as you understand that principle, you will be okay with that, okay? So once again, thank you again for watching the video. If you guys have any questions about this, leave a comment down below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the video. Really helps me out, and you guys have a terrific rest of your day. Make sure to get to the gym this week. Make sure to drink your water, hydrate, and go see your local chiropractor. Take care.